Cyberpunk 2077 has a lot of side content to dive into, but there are a few side quests that stand out from the rest. In this video, we're going to explore the 10 best side quests that you do not want to miss in Cyberpunk 2077. From Rogue AIs to espionage, we've got it all covered. So buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and let's dive into the wacky world of Night City. Number 1. I don't want to hear it. Carrie Eurodyne's quest chain is definitely one of the funniest and most memorable in the game. After Carrie finds out that a K-pop group called Us Cracks is promoting their tour with a cover of one of his songs, the rocker boy springs into action, hatching a plan to sabotage their tour by any means necessary. The first leg of the plan involves hijacking and exploding a van full of musical equipment belonging to the group. But when that doesn't work, Carrie decides to escalate with a more personal approach by giving the girls a talking to.
What now? Gonna plant a bomb in the club?
Nah, gotta talk.
Okay, good, because I thought...
Bring your heat.
Carrie's line when confronting the group in their green room is one of my favorite moments in the game.
Carrie Eurodyne! Carrie, son!
I ain't your son. This ain't a meet and greet either.
At this point, V can either help threaten the group into canceling their tour, or calm Carrie down and show him the opportunity for a collab that boosts his profile. Your choice here will affect the next quest, where Carrie invites you to a club. The best ending is to reconcile him with the Us Cracks, but it's still pretty funny if you go the other way because the girls end up suing Carrie and doing the cover anyway. Side note, I'm still a little bummed out there isn't a Blue Moon romance because Night City definitely needs more waifus. Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by Bloodline Heroes of Lithis. Bloodline is a hero collector fantasy RPG where you can build your own kingdom and sire powerful champions through the unique heirs system. This allows you to create your own legendary champions by combining the bloodlines of elves, demigods, vampires, and much more. You can try out Bloodline Heroes of Lithis for free on Android and iOS, and by clicking on my link in the description or scanning the QR code, you can receive a starter pack worth $20. Step into a gorgeous fantasy world with stunning 3D graphics and get yourself some waifu companions to help rebuild the City of Light. Bloodline Heroes of Lithis is the most unique gacha game I have ever seen because of the companions and heirs system. Throughout your journey, you'll recruit new waifu companions who can sire powerful champions for you. And since you can marry any two races together, there are over 800 combinations of hybrid champions you can create, each with their own unique traits. And you can forge even more powerful legendary hybrid champions called Bloodcraft Legends by participating in guild wars. Team up with your guild members to conquer territories in Bloodline's new campaign maps. The developers are constantly updating the game with new content and events like the Luxus tournament. Put your strategic mettle to the test against other players and earn the best rewards by advancing through the bracket. And the best part is Bloodline Heroes of Lithis is completely free. Download the game right now by clicking on my link in the description or scanning the QR code, and receive a starter pack with $20 of bonuses to get you started. This includes 1 summoning scroll, 100,000 crystals, and 100 diamonds. Plus, the first 30 players to post their player ID below the pinned comment on this video will receive a free Legendary Succubus Champion, the Luxuriant, who's one of the best mages in the game. So click on my link in the description to start playing Bloodline Heroes of Lithis right now. Number 2. Dream On. Out of all the quests in Cyberpunk 2077, none has sparked more debate and conspiracy theories amongst the fandom than Dream On. We start this journey after working with the prospective mayor, Jefferson Peralez, in his investigation into the previous mayor's death. Sometime later, Jeff will ask us to look into a mysterious break-in that happened in his apartment. One night, Jefferson awoke to the sound of a suspected home invader and started firing wildly at the intruder like any good God-fearing American would, only to discover the next day there was no evidence of a break-in according to his security team. This quest unravels a conspiracy of deceit, spycraft, and even mind control of the Peralez family by a mysterious patron. At the end of the quest, we have the choice to reveal the truth about the conspiracy to Jefferson, or follow his wife's wishes to keep him in the dark to protect their safety. The most curious moments of the journey are near the end of the quest, a mysterious phone call which causes us to black out, the shady Mr. Blue Eyes overseeing our meeting, and Johnny's suggestion that perhaps Rogue AIs are pulling the strings. We never get definitive proof of who or what is behind all of this, leaving behind one of the biggest mysteries in all of Night City. Number 3, Dazed and Confused. Phantom Liberty was an excellent expansion capping off Cyberpunk 2077, and while there weren't a ton of major side quests to explore, the ones we did get were high quality. One in particular, involving a brain dance starlet and a brain scrambled Coomer, stuck out to me as it was a hilarious journey. Pacifica's favorite fixer reaches out to V with a mission to rescue the brain dance star Lena Melina. Only when we arrive do we discover that the client is actually some middle-aged fat dude named Tool who got short-circuited while watching a Lena Melina brain dance. And now, after coming out of VR, his brain is convinced he's the real star. After speaking to the BD store owner, we could take part in a plan to recruit the real Lena Melina to shoot a brain dance with Tool. This quest can end a few different ways depending on how V directs the shoot. But honestly, my favorite part of the whole scene is the initial confrontation between Tool and Lena.
These looks are copyright protected, okay? You will be paying me for the rest of your life!
Your looks, Fatso? Yours?
Bags, shoes, glasses, all custom made. Lena Melina is a registered trademark, you fucking copycat bitch!
Number 4, Don't Lose Your Mind. Artificial intelligence plays a major role throughout the game, as the dark future has become heavily reliant on this technology for many aspects of daily life. One of my favorite quest lines in the game involves resolving a deviant AI malfunction for the Delamain Taxi Company, which is completely run by AI. The early parts of the quest are pretty tedious as we track down 7 different stray taxis throughout the city. But if you stick it out, you're faced with an interesting decision at the end of the quest. Will you reset the memory core, wiping out all the Rogue AIs, set them free by destroying Big Daddy Delamain, or merge them into a new hybrid AI leader? It's an interesting philosophical dilemma to consider, and I love our conversation with Johnny at the end of the mission. Number 5, Sinnerman / They Won't Go When I Go. The wildest questline in all of Cyberpunk starts out as a simple assassination mission that we receive from the fixer Wakako. Our client, Bill Jablonski, asks us to track down the man who murdered his wife. The target, Joshua Stevenson, was recently released from prison, and it's our job to bring Jablonski in for the kill shot. Unfortunately for Bill, the NCPD is quicker on the draw, but this is where things start to get really strange. Stevenson requests that V accompany him on a ride-along as he travels to apologize to one of his victim's mothers. He also lets us in on why he's being released from prison, because he's decided to take part in a brain dance filming for a Christian BD where he literally gets crucified. The follow-up quest, They Won't Go When I Go, gives us a front row seat on the film set, even with the option to nail him to the cross ourselves. This is one of the rare moments where photo mode is disabled in the game, maybe to avoid the wrath of right-wing Christians calling to ban the game or something like that. Number 6, Violence. What's better than a hot pop icon? A hot pop icon in a fully chromed body, who's also suffering from cyberpsychosis. V is contacted directly by Lizzie Wizzy to help snoop on her boyfriend, who she suspects of cheating on her. But his actual intentions are much more sinister. After Lizzie transferred herself into a fully chromed body, her BF Liam went behind her back to create a full digital copy of her personality. This quest can end a few different ways depending on whether we expose the truth to Lizzie, take a bribe, or just cover it up on our own. But the whole moral dilemma surrounding rights violations and digital personalities was an interesting one to explore. Number 7, The Hunt. One of the darkest quests we experience in the game involves the hunt to track down River Ward's nephew, who was kidnapped by a predator along with several other teenage boys throughout Night City. The investigation is an intense one, owing to River's personal involvement and emotional stress, and the sordid nature of the crimes. This quest also has a few different endings depending on whether we abandon River, rescue Randy, or even botch the investigation entirely, which leads to Randy's death and River going to prison.
Hey, V. Listen now. Stupid question, but do you think you could bail me out?
Definitely one of the darkest and most memorable journeys we'll experience in Cyberpunk. Number 8, Riders on the Storm. Pan Am and the Aldecaldos have one of the longest side quest chains in the game, and completing the whole thing opens up new options for the ending. My favorite quest from the Aldecaldos has to be Riders on the Storm, where Pan Am and V infiltrate a Raffen Shiv camp to rescue the Aldecaldos leader Saul. The mission starts off with some drone recon, and we have a lot of different options for how we want to approach and infiltrate the camp, depending on our skills and choices. Eventually, we locate Saul, hit him with some Narcan, and haul his ass out of the facility. Hilariously, this quest used to bug out sometimes in previous versions of Cyberpunk, leading to Saul following you around permanently after the mission was complete. Number 9. Run this town. Phantom Liberty introduced several new game mechanics into Cyberpunk, such as relic perks and vehicle combat. One of the coolest new tools that we unlock during the main story is a cyberware faceplate that allows V to change his or her face and voice to imitate another person. This really allowed us to immerse ourselves in the world of spycraft, and thankfully this tool was not only restricted to the main campaign in the DLC. One side quest we pick up after finishing the expansion involves choosing a new leader of Barghest in Dogtown by imitating a Cuban mafia hitwoman named Aguilar. I absolutely loved this quest, strolling up to Barghest and Voodoo Boy's goons and throwing our weight around with the signature revolver and poetic accent.
Do you know what happens when someone in Havana lights a cigar? Somewhere in the world, Aguilar takes a life. So they say. Do you know what else they say? That you have angered the wrong people.
Depending on our choices, we can either secure a good partnership between the two leaders, or leave Barghest in a state of pure chaos and violence, much to the chagrin of Mr. Hands. Number 10. Chippin In. While this isn't necessarily my favorite side quest in Cyberpunk 2077, it plays such a major role in unlocking additional endings, including the secret ending, as well as additional content with Rogue, Carrie, and a few other characters. Plus, you can get a hold of Johnny's signature handgun and car after handling Grayson, so I had to put this on the list. After completing the major story arcs in Act 2, Johnny asks V to help him tie up some loose ends, namely taking down Adam Smasher. We reconnect with Rogue in order to track Smasher to a shipping yard in Watson, only to discover that Smasher is not there. This quest helps us delve a lot more into both Johnny and Rogue's backstories, including what Rogue did after Johnny's death, and a heart-to-heart conversation with the rocker boy at his grave out in the oil fields, making it one of the more memorable quests in the game. So there you have it, the 10 best side quests in Cyberpunk 2077. There are definitely few quests that I love that I ended up leaving off the list, such as Judy's questline and the quest to destroy Scorpion's car with Mitch. But hey, it's a testament to how much great content is in the game. Were there any side quests that stood out to you in Cyberpunk? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Cyberpunk and RPG videos. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.